don't like you. I don't know, maybe it's your clothes, stupid haircut. It's not about money, Kenny. It's about respect.
In a small town, as they start their night shift, an officer named Billy and his partner, Officer Spinelli, grab some takeaways and eat their dinner in their squad car, teasing one another and enjoying each other's company. A few minutes later, the officers receive a noise complaint at a local party where an infamous thug and his brother Lee cause all sorts of problems and respond to the call. The officers then rush to the location, determined to restore some peace, and find it flooded with intoxicated people. Hoping to tackle the ordeal effectively, Billy offers to check on and handle the situation inside the house, while Spinelli deals with the intoxicated people outside who are causing chaos. Billy then heads into the house and finds Lee attacking a man.
Let him go and I want to arrest you. Yeah, like I'm supposed to believe that.
Before Billy can convince Lee, the thug hits him from behind. The thug takes Billy's gun and, motivated by Lee's encouragement, tries to shoot him. Hoping to defend himself, Billy pushes the thug off, but unfortunately the man falls, hits his head, and dies on the spot.
You killed my brother, pig! You're gonna pay for this!
Then, hearing the commotion, Spinelli arrives and arrests Lee. After Lee was escorted out, still in denial of the horrific accident that cost a life, Billy stayed back for minutes trying to resuscitate the thug to no avail. Utterly devastated by the incident and ashamed that he had come to take a life he swore to protect, no matter the circumstance, Billy fails to forgive himself. Feeling like he no longer deserves to wear the badge, Billy quits the police force, walks away from the only thing he's ever known, and disappears into a guilt-driven depression.
You got to deal with this, Billy. Where you gonna go, man?
But it was an accident, Billy. 7 years later, hoping to find work and support her family, a widowed mother named Shirley Marks moves to a new town with her high school senior son, Ken, who, despite being dismayed by the move, tries to adapt to his new environment as much as he can. A few days later, Shirley drives Ken to the local high school, where he hopes to blend in and enjoy the rest of his year.
Smile. Come on, sweetie. We're gonna love it here.
Ken then walks into the school, and as he heads to his locker, seeing that he's new, a student pranks him by lighting some fireworks and scaring him half to death. While a terrified Ken, who had mistaken the blast from the firework for gunshots, falls to the ground, students surround him and laugh at him, mocking his gullibility. What a terrible way to start your first day at a new school. Then, as Ken tries to shake off the embarrassment and pick himself up, he sees a beautiful student named Julie and becomes totally mesmerized. Meanwhile, on the other side of the school, a bully named Tom and his friends Rob and Gina taunt a shy hall monitor who whimpers in fear.
I'll let you guys go this time. I'm a geek. Okay?
Tom heads to class and meets his girlfriend Julie, who confronts him.
I thought we were going to the movies.
We're gone, all right? What's the problem?
A few minutes later, the teacher arrives and questions them about a brutal attack that had happened in the school and details how badly the victim was hurt. Instead of cooperating, Tom, Rob, and Gina make fun of the incident, which annoys the teacher. The teacher is then interrupted by the late arrival of Ken, who slowly walks into class.
You see that desk back there?
Yes, ma'am.
Sit in it.
Ken takes the seat as ordered, and as he starts to process the hectic morning and starts to dread the rest of the day, a shy student addresses him.
I see. You have a death wish because her boyfriend is Godzilla.
During recess, Mike shows Ken the library and gives him a rundown of the social circles in the school.
Well, this isn't back home, all right? Now just stick with me and you'll be fine.
Ken disregards Mike's stern warning and goes over to greet Julie, takes a seat next to her, and starts chatting with her. However, moments later, Tom walks into the library and becomes furious at what he sees.
Gina, handle Mr. Johnson. Make sure he doesn't see this.
Unfortunately, before Ken can run away, Rob and Tom catch him.
Trying to say hi to her. Is there anything wrong with that?
Talking to her is messing with me.
Later, after school ends, Ken meets with Mike and prepares to head home.
The guy's a madman.
I hate to say I told you so, but...
Yeah, well, I didn't understand, okay?
Unfortunately, moments later, as Ken proceeds to leave, Tom and his crew ambush and attack him.
I don't like you. I don't know, maybe it's your clothes, stupid haircut. Like this.
As Ken lies on the ground trying to catch his breath, the school janitor, former police officer Billy, finds him and helps him up.
So why'd you move here? Dad get a new job?
Anyhow, a lot of people were out of work. My mom thought she could find a job here.
Grateful for his help, Ken profusely thanks Billy and heads home, promising to keep everything to himself so that he won't alarm his mother. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, at the local dojo, Ken and his crew attend Lee's session.
Success is control! Control is success! You
Then, Lee chooses one of his students to test his readiness for the fight, challenges, and beats him.
Who won? Sensei! Who won? Sensei!
As the insanity continues, Lee's assistant, Kate, pulls Tom aside for a chat.
Get your ass in gear. You gotta fight tonight.
The next morning, at school, Ken heads to his class, and as he tries to stay out of everyone's way, Julie approaches him.
You tried to warn me, I just didn't understand.
On the other side, Tom arrives at the school and excitedly shares details about the fight he won the previous night, including the reward money to his adoring crew, who profusely congratulate him. Then, as the group heads to class, Tom becomes enraged to see Ken and Julie talking, which concerns his friends.
Keep us talking about business. This is pleasure.
Listen, man, we got plenty of time for this guy.
Later, hoping to stay out of trouble, Mike and Ken head to the library.
Nothing. What's going on?
I wouldn't be too sure about that.
Oh, how little you know, Tom. Before Mike can even finish his sentence, determined to avoid Tom's unreasonable wrath, Ken starts running out of the library as fast as he can. Tom and Rob run after him, chase him all around the school, and follow him into the gym, where they find him frantically trying to find a way out.
Wave to her.
You're messing with my woman, and I'm not gonna stand for it.
Luckily, Billy appears out of nowhere at exactly the right time and tries to defuse the situation.
Hey, leave the kid alone.
Through your prayers.
Disregarding Billy's numerous warnings, Tom and Rob try to attack him. But to the utter surprise of Ken, Billy defends himself well, despite being outnumbered. Then, as the fight intensifies, Billy, who suddenly stops what he's doing, and as if waking up from sleep, becomes terrified to see the bullies on the ground and flees the area, despite Ken calling after him. Moments later, students flood the gym, and seeing the bullies on the floor, assume Ken had stood up to them and had given them a taste of their own medicine. Despite Ken's profuse denial of the great feat, everyone watches him in quiet admiration until he leaves with Mike.
The last time, I didn't do it. The janitor did, okay?
The duo then runs into Julie, who's annoyed by what happened and angrily walks away from him. This is not fair, Julie? Meanwhile, Tom and Rob pick themselves up, take a few moments to calm down, and as they walk out of the gym, they hear students making fun of their defeat.
Not right now, Tom. We gotta go to the dojo, okay?
Then, hoping to prove his account of what happened to Mike, Ken takes him along when he goes to see Billy.
Everything will be all right.
Yeah, sure.
Elsewhere, at the dojo, riled up by everything that had transpired at the school, Tom takes his frustration out on Rob during practice and beats him up. Seeing this, Kate becomes annoyed and approaches Tom.
What have I told you about weakness? Such is nothing compared to the pain you feel inside.
As soon as the terrified and beaten up Tom leaves, Kate comes up with an idea and runs it by Lee.
Why don't I just go check out Tom's story and see about this janitor?
A couple of days later at the school, Mike and Ken hang out and discuss Ken's unique predicament.
Now everybody here wants to be my friend. Why? Because they think I drew blood?
Moments later, the duo runs into Julie, who has managed to calm down, and pulls Ken aside to talk to him.
But I just can't talk to you anymore. It hurts too much. I just can't, okay? I'm really sorry. I can't.
Later, at the end of the day, Mike, who has been searching for Ken the whole afternoon, finally finds him and checks on him.
I hated the library.
Wait a minute, don't tell me one of those people who actually studies.
Suddenly, Tom shows up out of nowhere, startles the duo, and interjects himself in their conversation.
I hear you've been telling people you beat me up yesterday. When they do, they pay the price.
Tom, this is insane.
Then, to the utter fascination of the rest of the students who quickly gather around to watch, Tom ignores Ken's explanation and starts beating him up, which quickly reminds everyone why they have always feared Tom and warns them to be on his good side.
You ain't replacing nobody, Kenny boy. You got that? Anybody else want a piece of me? Huh?
While the terrified crowd continues staring at the poor, bloodied Ken, who remains on the ground nursing his wounds and desperately trying to catch his breath, Mike rushes to his side, helps him up, and takes him away so that he can get a moment of respite and clean up. Once he calms down, Ken, who can no longer tolerate Tom's shenanigans and feels trapped in the situation, goes to see Billy.
Calm down. Just relax. Relax. And I'm gonna teach you. Yeah. Because they're not gonna stop picking on you until you start standing up for yourself.
However, instead of teaching Ken the cool and efficient fighting moves like he desperately hoped, Billy orders him to clean the gym and the toilets, and after a few minutes, completely hands over his janitorial duties to him.
This is self-defense.
Screw self-defense.
I need you to do an extra good job.
Despite struggling to see the bright side of the grueling assignment, Ken spends the next couple of hours scrubbing floors and toilets until they're squeaky clean, dumps out the trash, and goes home completely exhausted. The next day at school, Tom and Julie meet in the hallway and try to talk about the recent events.
I don't have time for this right now, so I'll talk about this later, all right?
Yeah.
Moments later, just as Julie leaves, Ken arrives, which creates another intense interaction.
What the hell are you looking at, Marks? Want your butt kicked again?
That evening, while Billy trains Ken at the school, Kate arrives to investigate Tom's story, convinces the vice principal that she's there to interview for a substitute teacher's position, and gains access to the ground where she discreetly takes pictures of Billy and takes them back to show them to Lee. As soon as he sees the pictures, Lee immediately recognizes the man he blames for his brother's death and reacts aggressively.
I want you to learn more now!
Listen to me!
Now!
Blissfully unaware of the developing situations, Billy continues training Ken for the next few days, spending hours with him after school, working out with him, slowly improving his fitness, and training his reflexes.
What the hell are you doing, man? If you can get out of the way of these, you can get out of the way of anybody's attack.
Seeing his encouraging improvements, Billy continues working with Ken for the next month, increasing the intensity of the exercises and helping him adapt to the new routines. Hoping to help his friend with his ambitious goal of standing up to Tom and defending himself, Mike joins Ken in training a couple of days a week just to provide him with moral support. As the days go by, Ken and Billy become closer and form a friendship. Helping the defenseless young man seemingly reinvigorates the ex-police officer who had been crushed under enormous amounts of guilt for years and lightens the load he's been carrying. One day, after they finish their daily training, Billy congratulates Ken on his progress.
You're making a lot of progress, so just keep your spirit, okay?
Then, taking Billy's advice, Ken musters his courage to approach Julie.
Maybe you and I could get together or something like. I understand. You got a boyfriend and everything.
As soon as Julie leaves, Mike, who has been monitoring the interaction from a distance, rushes to Ken's side to find out the details.
I know women. I'm suave.
Oh, is that so?
Hey, babe, how you doing? Good to...
Jerk.
Entertained by his friend's vain efforts and grateful to have someone by his side to lighten up his day, Ken pulls Mike away from approaching more girls and embarrassing himself, and the duo heads out. That evening, Ken trains with Billy, and as they take a break, he is shocked to accidentally see Billy's old police badge in his locker. Despite his curiosity, Ken is too afraid to bring up the topic, keeps his discovery to himself, and leaves after finishing his session. However, as Ken heads out of the school, he's frustrated to find Tom waiting for him.
Tom, I don't want to fight you.
Well, that's just too bad.
Tom then proceeds to attack Ken, who repeatedly tries to tell him that he has no interest in picking a fight with him. Backed into a corner, Ken quickly defends himself, dodges Tom's punches, manages to hit him, and starts running away as fast as possible. However, before he can get far, as if she were watching the whole ordeal unfold from a distance, Kate appears out of nowhere and drives towards him.
No problem. What's your name?
Unaware of her association with Tom and desperate to get away from the area as fast as possible, Ken jumps into the car and drives off with her.
I saw you fighting Tom out there. You're pretty good. Hey, come on, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. You should be proud you know how to fight.
Kate drives Ken to the dojo, which also hosts illegal martial arts fights, and shows him around.
Go out, buy some nice girl an expensive dinner. See what it's like to have some money. $500 for one nightcap.
They don't waste it all on plastic surgery first.
Good for you, Ken. Moments later, as Kate and Ken watch, the most anticipated fight of the night is announced.
The king of the Coliseum, our sensational sensei.
Then, to Ken's shock, Lee manages to knock his opponent out in only a few minutes and arrogantly walks off, while the poor man is carried out by the paramedics. The next day, Ken shares the events of the previous night with Billy, who becomes agitated.
I knew you always weren't a janitor, and I want you to tell me the truth.
They're hurting kids to make money, and that's not right.
Excited by the answer, Ken rushes to warm up and prepare for his training session. Meanwhile, at the dojo, while Tom trains for the upcoming fight, a furious Kate approaches him and discusses the events of the previous day.
If I hear that you disobeyed me, and I will hear of it, Tom. I'm interested in him, Tom. So keep your hands off.
Seeing that Ken's fitness and discipline have increased tremendously, Billy starts to teach him martial arts. The duo spends all their free time outside of town, enjoying the silence and training harder than ever, while appreciating the peace. In school, as his confidence grows, to the annoyance of Tom, Ken starts to occasionally talk to Julie, keep her company, and form a friendship. As the days go by, fascinated by Ken, who's the total opposite of her aggressive boyfriend, Julie watches some of Ken's training in school and starts learning about him. One day, Billy takes everything he knows about the dojo into account and grows increasingly angered by the abuse of the young, naive men who participate in the illegal fights and decides to take action. Hence, after years of radio silence and sheer isolation, Billy calls his old partner Spinelli.
Hey, I have something I need your help with.
That evening, Billy and Spinelli head to the dojo to gather some information, and as they approach the entrance, they see a man leaving. Suspicious, the duo quickly frisk him but are soon attacked by a couple of guards who all gang up on them and try to neutralize them. The officers use their skills to expertly fend off the guards, make it back to their car in time, and flee the area. However, the next day, Lee sees the footage of the attack on the security camera and becomes enraged.
Make sure everyone sees his body.
My pleasure.
Meanwhile, at the school, to the delight of Ken, Julie approaches him.
If you go out with me tonight.
Look, he's my boyfriend, all right? If you can't handle that, maybe we shouldn't be friends anymore.
Disappointed and blindsided by how the conversation went, Ken vents to Billy in hopes of getting some insight.
Maybe she does like me.
If she didn't like you, she wouldn't talk to you.
Elsewhere, determined to get to the bottom of the illegal operation at the dojo and confront whoever's behind it, Officer Spinelli alerts his team at the police station and returns to the location in an official capacity. However, despite doing a thorough search of the place, they're disappointed to find it completely emptied out. That evening, Julie goes to the movies with Tom, who senses that she's not happy to be there with him, and after ignoring her multiple requests to talk to him privately, starts aggressively confronting her.
You haven't talked to me for weeks. And when I do see you, all you want to do is party?
An angry Julie then storms out while Tom reunites with his friends who try to calm him down. On the other side of town, at home, Ken learns how stressed out his mother is over not finding a steady job and comforts her. Despite fearing that they would have to move again to start over somewhere else, Ken assures Shirley that everything will be all right and he will support her in whatever decision she makes. A few moments later, Ken is alarmed to get a call from Julie, who frantically begs him to pick her up. Ken rushes to the movie theater and after making sure that Julie's okay, he calms down and hangs out with her.
Doing it for myself, so I could steal you away from him.
You already have.
Meanwhile, at the school, while he's cleaning, Billy is ambushed by a couple of Lee's henchmen sent to assassinate him. Luckily, Billy reacts quickly and, hoping to escape the ordeal, tries to get away from them. However, one of the men quickly catches up with him and starts attacking him. Despite being injured in the altercation, Billy manages to neutralize the assassin. The next morning, as Ken walks to school, Kate approaches him and, noting his mother's trouble to find a steady job, tries to tempt him to take her offer.
Billy, what are you talking about?
Go find out.
Shocked by the ominous implication and terrified for his mentor, Ken runs to the school, frantically searches for Billy, and is confused to find no trace of him. To make matters worse, Ken sees a police tape all over the gym and becomes worried.
Look, he's gone. I can't find him anywhere.
You mean he vanished?
Then, Ken sees Tom approaching Julie as if they were still together and trying to hit on her.
You want to settle this? Fine! But settle it like men in a real ring.
Friday night, my dojo.
In the coming week, with Billy gone, Ken continues training and preparing with Mike by his side and starts a relationship with Julie, while Tom spends his days at the dojo fighting his friends like a maniac in the name of training until they finally have enough of his antics and walk away from the sessions. As the day of the big fight approaches, flyers run around the school alerting everyone to attend the most anticipated fight. On the day of the fight, as Ken prepares to meet his nemesis in the ring, Mike visits him.
Hey. Thanks for being there for me.
The duo then heads out and is overwhelmed by the crowded arena filled with an excited audience.
I think this is the worst idea I've ever heard. That's why I called the police.
The fight then commences, and to the delight of the excited crowd waiting to see an unforgettable spectacle, Ken and Tom both get good shots. However, soon the fight intensifies, as Tom uses dirty tricks to get the upper hand, and Ken is severely beaten, which terrifies Julie and Mike. Seeing this, and filled with pride, Lee encourages Tom to kill Ken and ensure his legacy. Hoping to make his mentor proud and fearing the consequences of failing, Tom continues beating Ken, who now lies on the floor, doubting his ability to even get up. Just as Ken considers throwing in the towel, as if scripted by fate, Billy shows up out of nowhere, which immediately reinvigorates the exhausted young man and gives him the courage to finish what he had started. To the delight of Billy, Ken quickly gets up and, seemingly refreshed, beats Tom up and throws him to the ground. A few minutes later, due to Tom's inability to get back up, Ken is announced as the deserving winner, which excites the crowd. Utterly furious, Lee jumps into the ring and, just as he had threatened him, starts beating Tom, who he believes has brought shame to his name. Outraged by this, Billy jumps into the ring, and as he tries to stop the egoistic maniac, a fight ensues between the two. Seeing this as his opportunity to avenge his brother's death, Lee attacks Billy viciously. Luckily, after an intense and lengthy fight, to the joy of the crowd, including Tom and his friends who now unanimously chant Billy's name, Billy manages to neutralize Lee.
You're not gonna hurt any more kids, Lee.
As the crowd celebrates the massive win, Tom approaches Ken.
See you around, man. Thank you.
Then, after arresting Lee, a proud Spinelli approaches Billy.
We want to know if you consider working with us. We're not too happy with our sensei.
Finally feeling like he can process and start working through his guilt over the unfortunate accident that had altered his path in life, Billy looks towards the future for the first time in 7 years, while Ken, who has managed to overthrow Tom's reign of terror, finally feels at home in the new town and walks away to celebrate with Mike and Julie.